Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkis, and this isn't recording as of right now, is it? There we go. Now it is. God. Sometimes the stream works, sometimes it doesn't. Take two. Hi, welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Batholkis, and this is Doom Patrol, Season 1, Episode 4, Cult Patrol. Oh, my God. It's been a technologically challenging day today. That's all I'm going to say. And luckily, it's near the end of the day. As a matter of fact, it's been so technologically challenging of a day that Gotham is going to be postponed either probably till tomorrow or maybe even Sunday. I think I might just go to Sunday on this one. So no Gotham tonight. I know I said I was going to do Gotham tonight, but I haven't even watched it as of yet. So that's how technologically challenged things have been. So hopefully everyone's doing good in the chat. All of two people, right? We've got Move Finobi and Sculpt Leather Art by Viking Bitch. So before I start, let's get the paddle out there. And spoiler alert, I am going to spoil this episode. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. Come on back. And you can comment in the in the spoilers. You can comment down below in the comment section. This will be a video, of course, after this is all done. I'm doing it live right now, as you can tell from all the glitches and everything else as well. Yes, Move Finobi, that actor is Mark Shepard, is what his name is. And great actor. He's also in Supernatural, Battlestar Galactica, of course, and numerous other projects. So yeah, it was kind of nice seeing him in this one. I like him a lot. He's especially as Crowley in Supernatural, he was one of the best villains that they had on Supernatural, just because he would come in and just torture the boys all the time and do it with a lot of glee, which was kind of fun. So yeah. Hey, Ghost of Obscurity. So yeah, this was actually a fun episode. And I almost didn't miss Mr. Nobody. Almost. I mean, I know that, Alan Tudyk is busy. He's working on like 5 different series now and, 18 different movies and all this kind of stuff. He's actually rising quite a bit. But yeah, his presence was missed. I want to see, get back to Mr. Nobody as well. But I can understand how they're doing a side story here and there would work as well. Excuse me. So let's get to it. Let's get cracking, Captain. Hey, Joker. Excuse me, Joker the Third. There we go. Get a little something there to clear out that throat and the lungs. And I just need to get my lungs cleared out at this point. So we start off with a 17 years ago flashback to Salt Lake City with these parents having a birthday party. And before this kid, he's got like drawings all over his skin and things like that, weird markings. And they every birthday, because we're seeing consecutive years, before he starts, they make him say a prayer to some dark lord or whatever it is like that. And we see that we reach till today, of course, present day, and his mom, has gotten him a cake, of course, and all this stuff. And she goes, "Oh, I forgot the knife." And she goes to the kitchen and his dad tells him, "Run." And he's like, "What?" He goes, "Run. You're not here to save the world. You're here to end it." And that's when the mom comes in with a big old kitchen knife and slits Dad's throat right in front of him. And of course, he freaks out and goes running up the stairs. And Mom's like, "Elliot, you get back down here and eat this fucking cake," which I thought she was actually really, really scary, man. I mean, just really scary. Yeah, it was pretty unexpected. I mean, I wasn't expecting her to slit his throat that quickly. I knew something bad was going to happen, but damn, man. I mean, they are not pulling any punches. And then we also get some weird guy who looks like an older, frumpier and shorter version of Constantine in a motel room. And he's mentioning, he's going, "Oh, no." He goes, "The cult of the unwritten book is at it again." He goes, "Only it feels different this time. It feels like they're nearly finished." and he's reading through a book, Who Killed Cock Robin? And he's reciting the poems of Who Killed Cock Robin. And as he's doing this, we're seeing that the wall getting chopped away, and there's light behind the wall as it's getting chopped away. And we're also switching between different places, and we see a baptism that happens in a church, and the water has turned to blood that the priest is putting on the baby's head. And the priest, we see these demons come through the wall after this guy in the trench coat, who uses the Who Killed Cock Robin book. He opens it up and a light emanates out of it, and he sucks the demons in. Kind of a weird thing. And then we see the priest who is doing the baptism all of a sudden get this weird light stigmata out of the palms of his hands. And he just has light coming out of them and starts screaming, and everyone makes a run for it, of course. In the meantime, we've got Cliff, who's dreaming about his daughter. And back when Cliff had these big-ass mutton chops going on and a porn stash and was living in a trailer when his daughter was first born. And we see him going to pick up his daughter, and there's a little mirror on the edge of her crib, and he sees himself as Robot Man. And, of course, freaks out, wakes up, and he wakes up as himself for a second, wonders what happens, and wakes up again. And he's in his Robot Man form, of course, and Jane is asleep on top of him. And he's like, what the, Jane, why are you here? And she wakes up and she's like, what the fuck? Gets really kind of pissed off. And she goes, I'm not Jane, I'm a Hammerhead. Jane's been has been put on a timeout, is what she says. And and she's just really pissed off. Larry, in the meantime, wakes up. His entity comes back into him, and he's sitting in front of a TV watching videos of Niles interviewing him about his life and basically what was going on with his life, and then also who his mechanic was. So Niles knows everything about this, what's going on. And Larry's like, what the hell? Why am I here? Kind of thing. And he's pissed off, and he wants to know why his traveler is listening to this stuff. So Cliff just wants to know why Jane was in his room, and Hammerhead just says Jane is on timeout and because of Paraguay. And he's like, what do you mean because of Paraguay? And she won't give him the answer. She goes, you should fucking know. I'm not your therapist, and walks away. It's like, all right. So in the meantime, Vic is down inside the library there, the meeting room, and he's having a meeting with everybody except for Rita. And he's schooling them on the 37 known dimensions because they're trying to find out where Chief is. And so they're going to do this whole searching for him. And he says, for a team, we need to, get this stuff together. And Jane says, we're not a team. And he says, well, we're all looking for Dr. Calder, right? And who's looking for Dr. Calder? And he goes around and he goes, well, people with a common goal are a team, is what he tells her. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. Rita comes in and says, whoa, wait a minute. How come I didn't get invited to this thing? And Vic pretty much tells her, he goes, well, since our last conversation, I didn't think you were going to be into this at all. And she gets a little pissed and walks away. And later on, Larry is walking with her, and she's like, why didn't you stand up for me? And Larry's like, I don't have time for this shit because I'm going through my own stuff at the moment. I don't have time to deal with your shit too at this point. And just as they're kind of getting into this, they see this weird guy from the motel going through and opening doors in the mansion, looking for, Chief at this point. And like, excuse me, who are you? And he introduces himself as Willoughby Kipling, Knight Templar, or Kip for short. And he's looking for Niles Calder because the cult of the unwritten book is trying to release the I, or the uncreator, or the decreator, the decreator. And they're very close to doing so, and it's going to end the world at this point. It's like, oh, okay, great. And so they need to find the book, and the book is actually a hymn. So before anyone else does, before the cult does, and reads him. If the cult reads him, then we're screwed. Excuse me. So Kip ends up summoning the Oracle because they need to find out where the book is. And yeah, the Oracle takes on the form of a horse's head with a spike in it that comes up out of the table and sings, kind of like Lady Gaga in a way, and talks about where, calls him Elliot, of course, where they can find him in Salt Lake City, and that pretty much they're too late, that they're not going to get there in time, and they're pretty much screwed, is what's happening at this point. And I love how Larry, it's like, I believe it. I believe the horse. The horse doesn't lie. I'm pretty sure the horse is right. Yeah. And this was a really kind of far out episode too. I was kind of surprised that they were actually able to really one up. They keep one upping themselves on the weirdness factor, which is really good. I'm liking this. This is what I look forward to in TV or movies and things like that. I want to see something different. And that's what we're seeing in this. This is something weird and different and good, too. Very well written as well. So the group discusses whether or not to help Kip. And they're in. They finally decide that they're in. Actually, Vic tells them that Kip is a bona fide chaos magician that has some questionable past credentials, things like that. But yeah, he's a chaos magician. So Kip ends up opening a portal by using a cigarette and drawing a line in the air, and just basically cuts a slit in the air to take them where they need to go to. And he goes, okay, everybody in. And Vic's like, whoa, wait a minute. Where the hell are we going? You could just make a portal in thin air. And Jane's like, fuck this, I'm in. So, Hammerhead walks through. Cliff's like, okay, I'm in too. And he walks in. And Larry's like, sure, why not? So he walks in too. And as Kip is waiting for everyone else to walk in, he's standing next to Rita. He coughs up a little something. And Rita's like, what the hell is that? He goes, 2 grams of Michelangelo's ashes. And she's like, that's disgusting. And just then the trio come running back in, and they've got Elliot, the kid. And Cliff is screaming, close the portal, close the portal. And in runs the mom with the butcher knife. And Hammerhead is got nothing about this. She's like, fuck you, get back in there, and pushes her back through the portal. And Kip, excuse me, steps on the cigarette, squashing it out and closing the portal. Now they've got the book, and we see the kid. He's got writing all over him. He's freaked out because, of course, he just watched his mom kill his dad, and doesn't know what the hell's going on next here. So we see that they said, okay, great, we got the book, is what Kip says, and we need to kill him. That's the only way we can be sure that we end this whole thing. And they're like, no, we're not killing the kid. He goes, well, the only other way to do this is to close the gates of Nurnheim. And they're like, what? Close the gates of Nurnheim? And he says, yeah. And he essentially says, someone has a light stigmata, has a portal stigmata coming out of their hands. We need to find them, and we need to stitch it up to close the gates. Those are the gates. And that's where these, the people of Nurnheim are going to come through. Again, it just gets weirder. That's all I can say. So they have to sew those things shut. So Kip, we find out that Hammerhead is actually really good at sewing, knows how to knit. And I knit, exactly. And Kip gives her dental floss. That's Janis Joplin's dental floss. And the reason why, it's the strongest spiritual thread in the world. That is the only thing that can actually sew these gates shut. Yeah, it's, like I said, some really weird shit. Hey, Battle Marcus. And Cliff's going to go with Jane. He's like, yeah, screw this. He goes, I'm going with her. I'm going with Hammerhead. And he's not leaving her side at this point. He's like, screw this. We're going to go. Yeah, exactly. Oh, what are you going to do, metal tits? Is what Kip says. Uh, so Kip needs to find out where the hell, the gates are. So he uses his last piece of knowing gum, chews it, swallows it, and he says it'll let you know anything. You ask the question first, chew it, then you swallow it, and he goes, got it. And he knows where to send them. And he sends them to Babia, Spain, is where they're at. And they're looking for a church, is where they're looking for. So Cliff and Jane are there, and Cliff asks, he goes, okay, why am I on your shit list? And what the hell is Paraguay? What the hell's about that? And she finally goes, are you going to shut up if I tell you? Will you stop asking? He's like, yeah. And so she says, all the bloodshed, basically everything that happened in Paraguay, all the bloodshed that you did really shocked the shit out of Jane. She trusted you and you showed your true self. You're the true monster. And that's why, she's taking a time out because she doesn't trust you anymore, kind of thing. And he's like, and he tells Hammerhead, you killed a lot more people and took glee out of it than I did. Yeah. And he's trying to turn things around, but he still hasn't come to terms with a lot of shit that's going on in his brain, considering that's all that's left of him is his brain. And he really hasn't come to terms with a lot of shit. He hasn't dealt with it. And I don't know if it's repression or what's going on, but we'll find out as we go along here. So Jane and Cliff, Larry, Rita, and Vic are going to protect Elliot. Excuse me. While Kip goes up to go get some hot sauce because he needs hot sauce for a ritual. And Vic tells Rita that the thing inside Larry is a hero. He goes, even if Larry isn't. And she says, well, it might also be insane. Have you ever considered that? So, yeah. So we're getting a little bit, delving into these characters' inner psyche as we're having an outward dilemma that's happening at the moment. Again, good writing where you don't have to stop everything that's going on in order to have these interactions. Again, this is the way you do things. Hi, Titans, Akiva Goldsman. You should hang up your damn typewriter, you damn hack. That's all I can say. So Jane and Cliff go into the church, and they find the priest cowering in the confessional with his light coming out of his hands. And Jane freezes in front of the crucifix, and we see, or Hammerhead freezes in front of the crucifix. And we see her looking up, and then when Cliff brings the priest out, and they're like, okay, let's sew this up, get it over with, because that's what Kip told them to do. Sew it up, don't fuck around, just get it done and be done with it. What happens? But Hammerhead loses her shit, and something happened in a church. We don't know what, but she grabs a crucifix and is going to beat the shit out of the priest to death. Cliff stops her, and the priest holds up his hands, and they get bathed in the light and get taken to Nurnheim. Yes, they get taken over to Nurnheim. And Cliff is pissed off, and he's yelling. He's like, what the fuck, Jane? What did you do? He's like yelling at Hammerhead, actually, and Hammerhead's not there anymore because the church triggered her. It was too much. And she's now switched over to Penny Farthing. Penny Farthing has a British accent and is very timid. And he goes, shit, I can't even yell at you. I can't even yell at Hammerhead at this. You had one job. Exactly. And up comes a demon, a little demon with not a little demon, a big demon with a hood, and says they're going to come with us. And he goes, oh no, you ready for a fight, Penny Farthing? She goes, yes, sir. And she walks over to the demon and stands there and goes, oh, you got to be shitting me. And that's when the other demon comes up behind him and shocks him and knocks him down. He goes, I fucking hate Nurnheim. Yes. So, I didn't say so. S-O-W. No, not that. S-E-W. Exactly. Movie for Nobi. There's a different. Yeah, I know there's two different shows with so's in them. So, and so. Yeah, so the demons end up carting away Robot Man in a cart, quite literally, and Jane as well, or Penny Farthing as she is now. So Kip grabs some hot sauce and makes some incantations with some rosaries, and he puts them around the room, and that's going to be the protection spell. And the incantations are actually Love Me Do. because he finds that that's what he remembers from the Beatles and the lyrics. Basically, the incantations need to be certain lyrical, and that's what works with the magic. And everyone's looking at him like, you're fucking nuts, man. So people don't really believe him. Exactly. Nice eye one there, move. And that's a good icon there, especially for what happens later. So Vic and Kip are talking about magic versus science. Vic is going over his inventory to see what he's got weapon-wise, while Kip, of course, is taking stock of the alcohol libations that are around and just wants to get good and plastered before the fight happens. And they figure out which one they're going to help, and Kip says it doesn't matter. He goes, if they get through us, the only thing that's going to help is we're going to have to go down there and kill them, just so you're aware of this. And that's when Vic says that Niles would have never done anything like that. And he goes, you don't know Niles very well. Niles is a man that gets the job done no matter what. He lives with the hard decisions, and he lives with the consequences of all of this. He goes, you're going to learn this too at some point in time. And he goes, if you're lucky, he goes, you're young enough now where if you live past some of these mistakes that you make, it's going to make you a better man. He goes, but you need to start learning that shit now versus later. Again, good writing within a small space of time. It's amazing. I mean, what a difference, night and day, between a couple different shows. Really. So Elliot tells Larry that his parents were his only friends and they hung out all the time. And he doesn't know anybody else. And so he's very depressed at this point and just saying that he should just kill himself. And Larry says he hates the word hero. He goes, hero is a word that they hang on people. He goes, you don't have to deal with that, is what he tells the kid. He goes, you know better now. And of course, he's not giving him any pep talk. Larry's in his own little dilemma that's happening and really not in the mood to, or not in the place to give any advice to a suicidal Elliot at this point. So not a very good thing. And so just as Elliot's talking about killing himself, the entity comes out of Larry and opens the door for him and lets him out. And then brings Larry back over to the video banks and starts playing the video again. And Larry wakes up and is like, what the fuck? Why am I here again? He goes, what happened? Why'd you let it go? And just as he's about to walk out, he sees on the video that the entity comes out in the video. And we see that Niles has been waiting for this and brings out a machine and says, the energy that you have is that you're made up of is like nothing I've ever seen before. He goes, but this box should maybe be able to communicate. He goes, get inside of it and we'll try and communicate. And he tries to talk to it. And at one point, he even asks how he sustains himself in Larry's body, and it answers torture. And Niles says, just keep going. I know it might hurt, but I need to get some more answers out of you. And the box explodes and kind of cracks apart. So, yeah, Niles is not the best guy that we're seeing. I mean, and I think that's what they're going to find out as we go along here, is that Niles is not the man that they all think he is. And I'm pretty sure he's responsible for some of Jane's personalities. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, Penn Farm Girl. Yeah. What else do we have? So, Rita ends up finding Elliot sitting on the ledge of the second-story window, contemplating suicide, jumping from it. And she goes, don't do it. She goes, you're not going to end up killing yourself. You'll break a couple of bones maybe, but you'll never kill yourself. And she talks him in and gives him she offers her hand to him and offers him some comfort and brings him into the window. And Elliot says he can't even kill himself and is a failure. And she says, don't talk that way about yourself. And she goes, and if you give us a little chance, maybe we can save you. Hey, Morks. Excuse me. So, yeah. We're having, Elliot having a little bit of a dilemma here. Excuse me. So Cliff wakes up finally. Penny Farthing is kind of curled up on the floor. and we see these two giant clowns who he's like, who in the hell are these giant clowns? And the woman introduces herself as the Archon. Yeah, the Archon of Nurnheim. And basically, these are Elliot's parents that have ascended. They are now the rulers of Nurnheim. That's the reward for bringing up Elliot and, basically making him the vessel for the eye, for the book, excuse me. And Cliff ends up asking him, he says, well, they can't read what they can't see, that they have Elliot hidden at this point. And they say they see everything. They can see everything. So we don't know exactly what's going on at this point in time. Larry tells Vic that he lost Elliot. And just as he says this and Vic's about to lay into him, Rita comes in with Elliot and says, nope, we're here. Everything's good. And just then they start hearing those priests or whatever it is, the monks, beating on the walls. We hear them getting ready to open it up. And Rita takes Elliot back down to the room. She's going to take him back into the basement. And Vic and Kip are going to fight these things off. So is Larry at this point as well. So just as they go down to the room, what happens? But Rita knocks off she breaks one of the rosaries and basically breaks the spell. Doesn't realize this, that she's intent on grabbing all the rosary beads and stringing them back together again to help Elliot. And she wants Elliot to help her at this point. Vic activates his sonic cannon, which was kind of cool. I like to see the sonic cannon on his hand. And what does Kip? He kind of smiles at it, and he brings out of the top of his neck there, behind his back, a flaming sword, which is very, very cool. Yeah. And they end up fighting what's called pain surgeons. And pain surgeons are made of dead skin and unsent letters. And when you kill one of them, they burst into letters, which I thought was very cool. Again, like I said, this is shit that we haven't seen. This is stuff that I live for, that I like seeing, is this kind of weirdness. And I want to see more of it. That's what I want to see. I want to see more of this. And yeah, this is really very cool. I love the world building in this that they're doing so far. So Elliot doesn't want to die now. He just realizes that he doesn't want to die. And Rita confesses, before I stopped to help you, she goes, I was getting ready to leave. She goes, I was just out of here. And I saw you and I decided to help you. She goes, so don't fuck that up for me. She goes, that moment of helping somebody else out. She goes, so grab some goddamn rosaries and help me put them back together again, is what she says. Yeah. So the pain assassins end up leaving, and Kip's like, oh, no, this is bad. They don't leave until, unless something else bigger is coming. And sure enough, the hoodmen come in. These are the guys that we saw that took Cliff, and they're the Royal Guards is what they are. And Kip is like about shitting himself, and he says, yeah, this is really bad. And Vic's like, no, we could take him. And he goes, okay, sure, you go ahead and do it. And Kip pushes Vic into the hoodsman, and they take him down and start shocking the shit out of him. And Kip runs away. He goes down to the basement to go and kill Elliot at this point, which, of course, we get to see Rita's powers into play. She actually becomes Elastigirl, like her namesake, and stretches out her arm and grabs him by the throat, knocking the sword out of his hand. So Rita, stops him as the female hoodsmen start to arrive. They're hacking through the wall, and they end up taking Elliot, and she doesn't do anything about it. She's actually scared, so she doesn't do anything. Excuse me. Cliff, in the meantime, calls Elliot's mom on terrible parenting. He goes, you just fucking raised a kid just so you could sacrifice him to end the world. So, what kind of a shitty parent is that? And she basically, I love how he said, help me out here, Tiny Tim, is what he says to Penny Farthing. And Penny Farthing, of course, isn't doing anything. And this is when the Archon starts fucking with their minds and telling them how they see each other. He sees her as a child. She sees him as, nothing really. I mean, they don't really show what Jane sees him as, and we see how they see themselves. Jane sees all these different personalities, sees herself as a little girl, a frightened little girl. Um, and at one point, the Archon even says, all you really are is just a brain inside of a casing. And you see the brain just sitting there on the ground. And she's changing his reality around him as she's saying this, which is really fucked up when you think about how much power that is. Oh, that's right. Jane did see Cliff as a blood-covered monster. I take that back. Thank you, Viking bitch. Yeah. So, they see themselves as, different things. And it's all perception at this point, right? And shit that they need to work through in order to become a team. Which I'm seeing a theme here is that all these different things they're going through is them leading up to them becoming a team at the end of this, which is kind of cool. I like how they're doing this. This is a very huge origin story. I mean, yeah, from a certain point of view, exactly. Move and everything. So the Archon says, you know what? That basically they're waiting for the decreator to show up, in that he is going to make everything into a glorious nothing. And they pull back out of the castle, and we find out the castle is inside the snow globe that is inside Doom Manor's library there, pretty much right next to Vic, where Vic has been laying there on the ground after he uses a sonic grenade to get rid of the hoodsman off the top of him. Yeah. Pretty existential, if you will, in a way. And finally, Elliot is red, and we see his essence kind of go up into the air, and we see this gigantic eye form into the sky and looks down on him. And I love how Kip finally says, "Maybe I should have done a hard day's night." And that is our final line of the episode. And it leaves on a cliffhanger. That's right. So we have a two-parter here. And yeah, you never would have suspected the snow globe. And it was a good episode. I mean, really, really good episode. Yeah, cliffhanger, not Cliff, the robot man, but a cliffhanger. Different thing altogether. Yes, I'll take that bad pun and go on my merry way. Yes, Morks, I'm liking Jane's character a lot as well. Jane is awesome. Pen Farm Girl says, well, I guess a good thing I stopped by. Yeah, sorry that I'm not doing Gotham tonight. It's just, haven't gotten to it as of yet. So, and where else are we here? Viking Bitch says, I love it there in a snow globe in a room in the house. If they only knew. Yeah, exactly. And Mufinobi, the age-old battle of science versus magic. I wish they'd give Dresden another chance. They are. They are giving Dresden another chance. There's something that's being worked on. I believe it's going to Fox, if I'm not mistaken. But I did like when they're fighting. When they're fighting the pain assassins, and they're both complimenting each other on the magic and the science, Vic and Kip, which I thought was kind of cool. And they did it in a nice way. It was very cool. Viking Bitch says, hot sauce on the rosaries. I have not heard of that one. Yeah, that was kind of a weird one. Movie for No, he says, communication machine for the dimensional entity. Very curious. We don't know if it's a dimensional entity or a energy being or what. Excuse me. We don't know what that entity actually is. I'm not reading that one. Yes. What else? Movie for No, he says, I do like the dynamic with Jane and Robot Man. I do too. Yeah, Joe Greer, he did have the mullet too in that dream sequence. It was interesting. And yes, knowledge gum. I need knowledge gum pretty much all the time because shit, my brain's yeah. Joe Greer says, try taking zinc or magnesium before bed, trippy dreams. No, thank you. Don't need that. Movie says, I'm so glad they didn't say we're not a team, we're a time bomb. No, they leave that to other really crappily written movies, kind of like the one I saw last night. Has anyone seen Chris Nolan's Prestige? Yes. It's actually really damn good. David Bowie as Nicholas Tesla? Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Actually, the book's good too, by the way, The Prestige. So Movie says, oh, Morks, house full of women and you make a dad joke. Yeah, like you haven't. Come on. Good God. Making Voltron jokes too. Come on. So with that said, I want to get to a little bit of business here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like what you see, and also hit the dislike button if you don't like what you see. Comment down in the comment section. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Just don't be mean, because I'd be mean just right back to you too. So, and or just delete the comment. Does happen. So take a look at my video library. You can also find out my schedule. My schedule is up on suspendedfanimation.com. It's also up on Facebook, and I have a Twitter, and I have an Instagram as well. Like I said, I'm not doing Gotham tonight. That was the plan. I am doing that either tomorrow or Sunday. I'm probably going to go for Sunday at this point, just because, the way technology has been hitting me today with all these different side battles that I've been having to do with it. I'm probably just going to wait until tomorrow to watch some stuff. And yes, we now are confirmed that Cliff's catchphrase is "the fuck" every time something happens. Like when the oracle came up out of the horse's head, the fuck. Viking Bitch says, I meant to be nice to Dennis in the comments. Yeah, you are for the most part. Mork says, Dennis, I also saw it. I gave it a 6, and I'm leaving it there. I agree with you, Marks. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday morning blast off. That happens at 10 a.m., possibly 11 a.m. Depends on, again, how much time I get my shit together on some stuff. Excuse me. And if the little dog, gives me enough time to do things. Right now, she's sleeping in a different position and has her back to me fully, which means she's pissed at me for something. I don't know what it is, because that's the way she is. So I will be talking about that movie there. Yes, that is the dog, and she got one before this started, so she would get off my back. So I think it's just because she got one. Hey, little crispy tenders. Little crispy tenders, just so you know, Gotham is not going to be tonight. I moved it to Sunday. So sorry about that. I just haven't gotten to it. Like I was telling everybody else, technical problems. I know you're usually one of the ones that is there with me when I'm doing Gotham. So sorry about that. Viking Bitch, I could piss off Pepper doing I don't know what. So yeah, I'll just say this. She kicked me in the balls before I went onto the air tonight. That's all I can say. Yeah. A little dog has a lot of skill. She can just do it just like that. She's very adept at kicking people in the balls. I'm not the only one that she's done it to. So, and she's small. And I don't know how she does it. Really. I really don't. She's just very adept at doing it. So, with that said, going back to all this other stuff, if you are still on the fence about joining up, take a look at the videos. There should be some videos up here. The videos are going to pick from my video library the stuff that is going to be most pertinent to what you like watching, using the algorithms of everything that you've watched. Take a look at the video. If you're interested in joining up, hit the subscribe button that's over here. Also, if you want to find out maybe when I'm going to be on the air next live, hit the little bell down there as well. The little bell will notify you when I'm on live next, and you get a 50-50 chance of actually that happening. So there we go. Little Crispy Tender says, I'm not sure if I should buy the DC Universe membership to watch Titans and other shows. Little Crispy Tenders, and by the way, just love the name. That's why I keep saying it all the time. Doom Patrol is awesome. It is fucking awesome. It's really, really well done. And if the other shows that are going to be coming up are half as good as this one, I'm sold on it at this point. You also get Young Justice. Young Justice is on right now. They have a new season. They've gotten halfway through the new season. And I think they're going to wait till Doom Patrol, the season ends for Doom Patrol, and then start up again, kind of in the interim. And they have, let's see, old episodes of Wonder Woman with Linda Carter on there. They just released old episodes of Shazam from the 70s. They put that on there. Batman the Animated Series, that's been remastered in 4K. They have that on there. Comic books, all the DC comic books are on there. Oh man, what else? There's a lot of stuff that's on there right now. I just haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg. Titans was shit. I'll say that right now. And yes, Doom Patrol is definitely worth it, as Mork says. Yeah. And Constantine, that's right, Viking Bitch. Constantine is on there as well. You always have a 7-day free trial, so you can sign up for the 7-day free trial and take a look, see if it's something that you like, and then sign up for it. I don't work for them. I don't get any money for them or anything like that. Hint, if you guys want to send money my way, DC Universe, you can. But yeah, it's good. It's worth it. I was on the fence about it too until Doom Patrol came out. I'm like, I've got to cover this one. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's $8 a month, so not that bad. And considering that I dumped Stars and will never go back to Stars again, I think it was, yeah. Oh, of course, Obscurity. They give me enough money, I'll sell out. I won't wear a costume, so sorry. That's where I draw the line. As I once told an old boss of mine, I go, I got a degree, so I don't have to wear a name tag. Yeah. I know it's elitist, but sorry. I that's the way I am. I don't want to. They wanted to put name tags on us at one point in time and where I was working at. And I was like, no. Not wearing a uniform. Sorry, not happening. And of course, I bartended for, well over a decade and was in kind of a uniform. Movie for Nobody says, no Dennis cosplay. The fuck? Good night, everyone. Yeah. Little Crispy Tender says, hopefully Gotham's last 2 episodes wrap up the show on a good note. The show on a good note. There we go. Yeah, I've heard, from what I've heard, the last 2 episodes are just batshit crazy. No pun intended on that one. Batman, Joker, full on Penguin, and looks like Penguin is what they said. Riddler in full Riddler, Catwoman in full Catwoman stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is going to be Batman on TV. Granted, it's only 2 episodes, but shit, it's Batman on TV. I'm looking forward to it myself. Yeah. It's a weird show. I mean, is it the greatest show? No. Is it fun? Yes. In a very strange way. So, with that said, thank you, everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Morks, Little Crispy Tenders, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, Movie Fanobi, Ghosted Obscurity, Joker the Third. Who else did I have in here? Pen Farm Girl. I know Pen Farm Girl popped in for a little bit as well. And I know we had a couple other people that popped in as well, but maybe I'm wrong. Battle Marcus 8. Yes, I remember Battle Marcus 8 was in here as well. I just saw a unicorn as I was scrolling through, which was kind of funny. Yes, Penn was also, yes. So thank you all for joining me this evening, and I'll let you all go. Remember, take a look at the videos, hit the subscribe button over that way, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, because otherwise you may get sung to in a Lady Gaga-esque way by a disembodied horse. And I don't know, have the eye of the decreator show up above your house. I don't think that's going to be good. Good night, everybody.